Daniel at the Assessment Toolbox here. Let's look at 4 answer key best practices in your Google form. Now I'm breaking my own rule here. This is longer than 2 minutes because it's that important. So the first one is if you can, make your quiz out of 10 points. I see this right here, total points 11, and I cringe a little bit because it's not easy math for me, but 2, it's not easy math for the students, and that's even more important. If students are not sure how to easily calculate their score, they miss out on understanding how well they did. So I taught 5th grade mostly, and I made sure to put everything out of 10 points if I could. That consistency is what allowed them to know how well they did, to look at it briefly and scan that score and see, okay, that was better than normal for me, or ouch, I should have studied more. So 1, make it out of 10 points if you can. So here's a few parts. Things like the name, when they put that in, I want that showing up at 0 points right there. But every time you add in a section, if you add a question right there, then it's going to default to being worth 1 point. So change these things that don't need any score to 0 points. Okay, that's the first one. 10 points if you can. Otherwise, use consistency. I do want to say consistency is important for questions like this. This question has multiple answers. Students are going to respond in 2 spots. So let's go to student view. This question, it makes sense to be worth 1 point because it has 1 answer. Same with this following question. But this question right here has 2 responses. Which president served after the 1700s? Students need to respond with multiple. So I need to decide, does 1 point make the most sense for that question, or should I go into my answer key right here and make it worth 2 points? Which one makes more sense for you? That's what you need to decide. Number 2, collect data from your students. You need to know who's responding to the quiz. So I use multiple sections. Let's go back to the intro section right here. Students, when they begin, have to put in, I usually use first name and last name right here, and that's enough for me. If you want to collect email addresses though, here's how you do it. You go to settings under teacher view, collect emails, turn it on or off right there and click save. If I turn it off and we refresh, then this is going to show up right there without an email address. So you need to know who's responding. If this is your first quiz, wow, put that in there. If this is helpful, give a thumbs up and a like. Okay, the second part, it was collect data so you know who's responding. The third part is vary the question types. And so let's take a look here at this next section of the quiz. If you've got 10 multiple choice questions, that could be a little bit boring, and don't be afraid. Some of these other parts still auto grade, most of them do, or short answer sections are quite simple to grade in Google Forms. So if you want to know how to add images, there's a video right up here on that, and you can add it in different spots like that. Those are some multiple choice questions, but checkbox questions right there, short answer. If you vary it up, students are going to be more interested, and you can collect some really cool data in different ways, like with this grid that is quite visually pleasing and gives a lot of data quickly. This is another great example. Let's go back to the points. This is worth 4 points right here, and each of those parts is worth 1 point each. That's why it's worth 4 points. If this was set to only 1 point, then if they got 3 out of 4 right, they wouldn't get any points. So choose specifically for each question, have a reason why you wouldn't want it on 1 point. Okay, that was the third one. Vary the question types. Last one is use sections. You may have noticed I had an intro section for my name capture, and I also embedded a video. If you want to know how to embed a video, you can watch that instruction video right there. But I like to put this name capture part first and give students, break it up a little bit for them. Then I've got my 10 questions, my 10 points question bank right here. And once students respond to all of those, then this is a great little tip you can use. You can stick in a reflection section. Here's how I end this quiz. Students can respond in some different ways, and I used a linear scale to have students rank how confident were they of their performance. That's some interesting data for me. If you want to know when they completed it, they can type that in as well. You can have all sorts of different question types. Here's a full video on question types if you need that. But things like which question was hardest for you could be very interesting on a class level, giving you data, which parts need review, and boom, there are your review groups right there in your Google form as you look at your responses. Those are some great ideas and best practices. If that was helpful for you, give it a thumbs up. Are there other teachers you can think of? Can you think of another teacher who would benefit from this? Share a link to this video with them. And if you want more videos like this, you can subscribe to the channel. Happy teaching.